Hello and welcome to Reality TV Cringe. I am one of your hosts, Delia, and I am here with my real tight homegirl, Beatrice.
Hi, everybody.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How you doing, bitch? It's freezing outside.
Texas.
I hate it.
You hate it.
No, I don't.
I love it.
I mean, I hate the wind. I hate cold wind on my face.
Yeah.
But I like the cold. You know what I'm
like
saying?
it. It's so refreshing. You can put on your big oversized comfy stuff. You can just snuggle in. Did I show you my Sherpa sweatshirt that I got off Amazon? It's like this huge ass sweatshirt that's velvet on the outside and it's got that Sherpa material on the inside. It goes all the way down to my knees. It feels so sexy. I don't wear anything underneath it.
And it's like quadruple X large.
It is, but it's so comfy.
Oh my God.
I'm living my best life in the cold.
Yeah, you are. Laying in your bed until 1 p.m.
100%. All right, before we get into today's episode, we've got to remind you, please hide your wife and hide your kids. We are a politically incorrect podcast, which means we say stupid shit. Don't get all offended out there.
No.
It is okay if we have separate opinions from you and if we're dumb. I mean, that's the whole point of our podcast.
Real. Chill the fuck out.
And so if you're sensitive, you might want to find yourself another dumpster. But if you're down and you can roll with it, then welcome to this dumpster.
Yeah. And if you are down and ready to roll with it, go follow us on Instagram at Reality TV Cringe. We're still like 50 away from 5,000.
Almost there, though.
Almost there. And we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/Reality TV Cringe, with 2 to 4 bonus audio episodes a month, 2 to 4 bonus video podcast episodes a month, and uncensored video podcast versions.
So much content.
Yeah, bitch.
Get your ass over there.
Yeah.
And also, if you are on YouTube, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Everything you do really helps us to grow in the algorithm, and we thank you in advance.
Yes.
All right, moving on now. Let's get into 90-Day Fiancé.
Yes,
also, let me
bitch.
get some tea here. I'm so cold.
I know.
Brr.
You need to warm up a little bit.
God.
So let's start with Rob and Sophie, because they're arguing still in his apartment with Sophie's mom, and he's outside in the courtyard bitching to the producers.
Just popping off, can't contain himself, has no couth, bottom of the barrel behavior.
He's like, they don't understand what it's like to be at the bottom. They don't understand what it's like to work hard for your money. And like, granted,
Doing what?
I'm like,
well,
I get it. Like, I get it, but you don't have a job. And then
me.
you sent me
Because
this shit.
I was like, this guy is too much. What does he literally do for work?
Nothing.
And so I started doing some forensic investigation.
Yeah.
And I happened upon a very recent Reddit post on the 90-Day Fiancé Uncensored subreddits where somebody else is asking the same question. And then there was a commenter who said that Rob actually did OnlyFans,
Yeah.
butthole stuff. They said gay stuff, which I know you love, being a big old Liz.
Of course.
But like gay stuff, butthole stuff, full frontal stuff years ago. So we're talking like 2017, 2018. Apparently he was kind of known on the boards, these different forums, because he's a handsome man and people were very interested in the nudes. And then I saw
The photos.
one of them. I stopped because I couldn't take it. And you want us to post this photo, and I don't think we should post this photo, so we have to work it out right now because
Fine.
it's
on
feel
the internet.
It is on the internet, but I think he really doesn't want it on the internet. It is a very vulnerable butthole.
Why
photo.
would you post it then? Why do you post it and make people pay for it?
Well, that was his job. Apparently that's what he did for work. He did butthole work on the internet.
Why isn't he doing it anymore?
I don't know. He's trying to come off as legit.
Or straight.
Well, and that's another thing. Not to have another homosexual conspiracy, but like, does that mean? I don't know. I didn't see all the content, and I'm not sure if it was catered for like the homosexual crowd or if it was just butthole and
Maybe
balls
he's bi too.
and
So
boners. Maybe he's bi. I don't know. But
you show me the pictures and he's like spreading. We won't show it, I guess, but he's like
Well, if
literally
you think
spreading
we
his butthole open.
here's what we'll do. Okay, we will drop the link to the Reddit post where you can then, of your own volition and with your own eyes, you can scroll down in the post and you can see the information about the forums. There's even a link and you can look if you want to. I don't think you want to.
It's going to scar you a little bit, but it's pretty funny.
I mean, he's literally on all fours.
Yeah. Bent over.
With his butthole.
Spreading it open.
So he was doing that for work.
And like, look, and
no shame. No shame. Sex work is real work. This is how I actually feel about that. But the way he comes off and he's so belittling of Sophie.
Yes.
And he's trying to put on these airs like, I work so hard for what I have. I'm sorry if it's not as much as you think because you come from all this privilege. But I'm like, do you really have a job though?
No. That's the thing.
He does not work.
He does not work. So it's like, I would understand this whole argument that he's making of like, well, they don't get it. Because I mean, yeah, Sophie does come from privilege and she doesn't work either. She's a social media influencer. It's not like she's got a real job. Okay. So it's like, whatever. But Rob, you're not grinding. You're not working. You're living. You're renting out a restaurant.
Grinding.
Well, you're grinding. You're on Grindr.
Oh my God.
I'm terrible. But it's like, just shut up, dude. And so he's like bitching to the producers very loudly while Sophie and her mom are in the house still, can hear everything. And they're like, okay, let's just fucking bounce. They come outside. Claire says, look, I'm not going to apologize for what I said because I meant it, but I'm going to say sorry for raising my voice at you. And Rob's like, whatever, I don't care.
Right. He cares.
Yeah, he definitely cares. Sophie calls him disrespectful because he is. And also in her talking head, Sophie was saying that she feels like Rob resents her a bit for the way that she grew up.
100%.
It's pretty obvious that he does resent her.
Right.
And that's not right. He doesn't need to be holding that kind of resentment to her for how she grew up.
No, she can't help that. She does say that from her perspective, Rob is entirely at fault. It wasn't her mother. Yeah. Her mother didn't come in insulting him. And I'm like, kind of though. Yeah. Like a real man would do X, Y, and Z and like judging his house. And he's like, well, they act like I live in squalor. And I'm like, that's a big word for you, Rob.
Yeah.
I'm a little impressed.
Good vocabulary.
Very good. And then as they pan around in the courtyard, did you see that soda machine, that vending machine in the back? I'm like, okay.
This is because he's renting out an old restaurant.
I know, but I'm just like, oh, wow.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
And I think somebody on Reddit said he's paying $1,200 a month for that hovel.
Are you for real?
$1,200 a month in Inglewood, always up to no good.
This is why that's why all Californians are moving out of California because it's way too expensive.
It's crazy everywhere though.
That's absolutely crazy.
I mean, he would have to be making a lot of money at some sort of a job in order for him to afford a better place.
Yeah.
Do you think that he's hoping Sophie and or her mother are going to open up their pocketbooks to him and give him money?
Probably. I think he kind of low-key expects that because he's like, well, I struggle to make ends meet and stuff like that. But it's like, dude, like you're bringing this girl over on a K-1 visa. You're supposed to financially support her. She can't work or do anything in the United States until she gets her freaking green card. So it's like, what do you expect? So, I mean, Claire, yeah, she was coming off a little harsh to him and everything, but I understand where she was coming from because he's responsible for Sophie and he's responsible to take care of her right now while she's in America. So like, get your shit together, Rob. Come on. I don't know. I think he takes everything really personally because he's insecure about his position in life and not having a job. But you can change that, Rob.
Yes, you can. You can apply yourself. You can get a job. Well, spoiler alert. And if you don't want to know what's going on with Sophie and Rob, then maybe skip ahead 20 seconds or so. But apparently Sophie relocated to Austin, Texas, like every other Californian. And Rob relocated with her, but they are no longer together. Like she's got her own tricked out pad in Austin and he's probably living in a dumpster somewhere.
Big yikes.
Shooting his booty hole from a dumpster near you. So they're no longer together.
Wow. But I wonder if he's still going to be on the TLC train then because they had to
Single
make
Life
money.
Baby, him or Sophie.
It's like the worst franchise for these kinds of clout goblins because they just stay on
They
this
won't go
show.
away.
No, they don't ever. So then eventually Sophie and her mom leave and go to Sophie's mom's hotel. And it looks like from the preview, they're probably going to break up or something.
I hope so.
Yeah. Leave this dude.
Yeah. The reason he's not with a woman near his own age is because there is no woman, American or otherwise, who would put up with his bullshit.
Facts.
Yeah.
No cap. Next, we get to Manuel and Ashley. And let me remind you, Manuel and Ashley are still arguing at the coffee shop in front of Manuel's friend, Jonathan.
So inappropriate.
And it's ridiculous. Like, they are
so crazy,
yelling at each other. And then they get up to leave the coffee shop because they got to go take Jonathan back to the airport.
Like, can somebody if you could just get me to the airport so I can go home, I would really appreciate it. But no.
Nope.
Ashley's got to be bitching.
Yep. She's pissed off at Manuel, which rightfully so, because Manuel acts like she doesn't do anything for him, doesn't support him at all. And she is. We established this last episode.
Yes.
She's paying for literally everything. She's a hardworking girl. And then eventually Manuel gives kind of a fake apology. He's like, well, I'm sorry. I love you. Mm-hmm. And she's like, okay, I love you too. And then, they got to go sort things out.
Right. In their pants.
Which means going back into the coffee shop and going into a public restroom and fucking.
Which is, I'm going to be judgy. That is so scuzzy and dirty. And we all have to picture it because we also hear the sound of them rubbing up against each other. And I'm like, is he jackhammering her right now? And I'm thinking how are we doing this? Are you just lifting up one of your legs and he's scrunching up in there and just pow, pow, pow? Or are you bending over the toilet, holding the rim of the toilet and he's getting you from behind? I mean, are you wearing gloves?
No.
It is. I could not get sexy. I could not. My basement could not flood.
No.
If I'm in some disgusting situation, I can't.
You can't even poop in a public restroom.
I can't go to a thrift store. I'm itchy.
Yeah.
I can't go to a thrift store.
I know.
Can you imagine my husband wanting to take me to the bathroom at the thrift store and not going out? I'm just like, I can't. I'm going to get hives. That is so unsexy.
I'm like, what are you doing? I think this is so nasty. And the fact that TLC felt like it was okay to let us hear the sounds of it, I'm like, why? Please. I feel violated. Mm-hmm. I feel so violated. And then they come out of the bathroom and they're like, yeah, we just had to talk some things out. And the producer's like, okay.
In our pants.
Whatever.
And their friend is just waiting there. And it seems like he can hear stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like the people that work there, the staff and the other patrons, they can actually hear that there's something going on in this bathroom.
Yes.
I mean, how uncomfortable.
I know.
And just absolutely no shame to visit your neurotic horseshit on everybody else in the space.
For real.
Just figure your shit out.
I know. And I'm like, why do you guys always go back to sex? Why is it that you
fight? Because that is all they have. That is all he can do for her to shut her up.
That's terrible. But I mean, he apologized and then she was the one that was like, okay, let's go take care of this or something. So she's the one that's wanting the sex all the time. She's acting like she has to do it to please him. I'm like, no, bitch, you horny. And that's fine. But you guys have obvious problems in your relationship.
You think?
Maybe fucking fix that first.
It's really terrifying.
But who am I to say? Because you were with Impotent Guy for the
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's the truth.
Uncensored. Anyway, back to the show. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube right now, you probably noticed a hard cut.
Yeah.
And that happens from time to time in our episodes. And that's because we just censored the fuck out of ourselves because she called me out on something personal. And I'm just like, we had to go there.
Yeah.
But it's not appropriate for general consumption. And so we keep that on the Patreon. And so if you want to hear all of our secrets, because she's just bound and determined to out her mother-in-law, then you want to go to Patreon and check us out there. Because we release those uncensored videos every week, 2 a week.
Yes, bitch. So let's get back to Manuel and Ashley. So after they fucked in the public restroom and got whatever diseases they got, later
they had. I mean, that they spread like a contagion.
Later, we're joined at their house or whatever. She gives him some crystal to hold next to his heart chakra so she can cleanse him of his bad energy. And he's just in there like,
yeah, no,
this is stupid. Okay. And then she goes to leave because she's got to do a secret choreographed dance lesson with her friend and her sister because she wants to dance real sexy for Manuel at their wedding because Manuel loves it when she dances sexy.
I believe it.
I mean, hey, that's fine. Work it.
They're practicing their moves and she looks very pretty and it's a cool dance and I hope it goes over great, but that's not the point.
Yep.
Because these girls ultimately try to talk to her again and they're like, are you sure you want to marry this guy? Because every time it gets hard, he runs away. Is he just using you for your money? Like, are you okay with that? She gets very defensive anytime anybody reasonably challenges her about her plans.
Really interesting to me because she's like, she knows the red flags. Like, everybody's showing her the red flags. It's clear as day. And Ashley's like, no, but like the good outweighs the bad. I'm like, does it? The sex, you mean? The sex outweighs all of the bad because you guys can't communicate very well. And then she says some shit like, well, the government's basically forcing us to get married because otherwise he'll get deported. And I'm like, okay.
I mean,
I guess. You chose to bring him here on a K-1 visa. And they've known each other for like 10 years. So.
Right. She wants to get married. Like, this is her dream. This is what she wants. Right. And I'm like, okay, you're going to get what you want. And check back with me in, I don't know, a year. And we'll see how it's going.
Yeah. I want to see that hurricane wedding that she has.
Me too.
That is God literally
She's
telling
getting
her.
the wedding she deserves.
Like, don't marry this guy. But ultimately, Ashley's like, whatever, you guys. Like, we fucked in a coffee shop. It was really sexy. And I just, like, you know, I love him. So I'm going to marry him.
Like, okay. have you had friends like that? They just won't listen to reason. You're like, okay, I give up. Do whatever. We'll just be here when it's over.
I have a few friends like that. I'm like, we'll just let you learn your own lessons, man.
Not going to keep trying. I got other shit to do in my life.
For real, for real. Then we get to Nikki and Justin Igor. And Nikki broke a nail. So naturally, she's got to go to
a storyline,
the nail salon. And once she gets to the nail salon, the poor nail tech is like, so what brings you to Moldova? And Nikki just unloads all of her fucking bullshit problems on this poor nail tech. And is like, well, my man that I'm here for won't fuck me enough. And he won't go down on me. And we used to have sex like 5 times a day. But she says
it in an accent, like a Moldovan accent.
I know.
Like, what are you doing right now? She can understand English. You don't have to adopt your idea of a Moldovan accent, you ding dong.
I'm like, why are you talking so slow? Like, she's stupid. Like, she can't understand you. Like, I don't know why she does. She does that to Igor too, I've noticed. I'm like, why are you doing that?
I have no idea.
That's so cringe. So anyway, she unloads on all of her bullshit to this nail tech. And
who does not care and would really rather not hear any of this horseshit from you, Nikki Exotica.
For real. And Nikki's got to ask her, like, are all Moldovan men like this? They all like controlling and toxic masculinity? And the nail tech's like, yeah.
Duh.
Like, don't you know where you are at?
Eastern Europe, I think. I have no idea where Moldova is. We're in like Eastern Europe. This is what it is.
Yeah.
You've been coming here for years. You should know that.
Yeah, bitch.
Why are you acting dumb?
So stupid. This whole producer planned storyline, so dumb. And then
I did love her outfit though.
Well, yeah, it was all right.
The green and like the pink. I was like, oh, I love those colors.
Fab. Then we go to the park or whatever where Igor has set up some swan boat ride thing. With Nikki.
A shoot and a miss.
I know.
A shoot and a miss, and she's not appreciative. And then, as usual, the conversation devolves back again to sex. They get on after the boat ride, they're on that bench. And she's like, so you brought up threesomes. And he's like, yes, it's a way for me to have sex with you. If I can just have it with another woman and you can watch. I mean, it sounds great.
Yeah.
And so Nikki's like, okay, after we're married, I'm open to the idea that we can get a threesome, but then you also have to reciprocate by allowing me to have a threesome with 2 guys. And he's like, absolutely not.
Never. He's like, see, in a threesome with 2 girls, I get to fuck the girl and you get to watch. But in a threesome with a guy, I have to watch you fuck another man. And I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
Like, he's like,
he even starts laughing.
Clear.
He knows he's ridiculous.
Yes.
He knows it's a double standard and that this is ridiculous. But he's just like, I don't fucking care. You're clearly desperate.
Yes.
You're desperado for my dick for this marriage. Dick. And I'm not into it. Only if you let me bring another woman into the bedroom. Like, he's telling you in plain language that we can kind of all understand, sort of, that he's just not that into you.
No.
Come on, Nikki, get into yourself.
For real.
Value yourself and dump this guy.
Yes. But instead she's like turning it around like, oh, he's just controlling and toxic or whatever. And I'm like, okay, fine. Break up then. Why do you keep trying to simp for this guy and try to beg him to fuck you when he obviously like isn't attracted to you? Like, we've been saying this for several episodes. He keeps saying it to the camera too. He's like, my mind loves her, but my body, aka my dick
does not love her. The reason she doesn't is because she doesn't believe she can get anybody else after this. She's almost 50 years old. She's put all of her eggs in this Moldovan basket. And she knows if he walks away from her, she is going to struggle in the relationship department because the only thing for her that affirms her value as a human is her pussy.
Yep.
And somebody wanting her pussy. Like she doesn't know how to value herself, not to get all crazy and serious, but she does not know how to value herself. And she doesn't think whatever is inside of her is worth attracting somebody of value to her. All she can offer is her body, and all of the makeup, and that's who she thinks she is. And that's the saddest part of it all. She doesn't see herself as better than her parts.
Right. I agree 100%. And it's honestly sad because I think Nikki deserves better, and she deserves a man who actually wants to fuck her a million times a day.
And I believe she could find that man.
Totally. Yeah.
Yes. I believe that man is out there.
Yeah. She acts like she can't find anybody. And I'm like, you can. Like, the world is endless.
They're already in your DMs.
For real. You don't need to go to Moldova and try to get a trad man to get with you when that's going to clash with your personality because you're a strong, independent woman. So I don't know. Their whole storyline is so fucking stupid at this
I'm over
point.
it. I mean, it's the same thing every single time. The same information just packaged in a different way. It's like, we get it. Like, he's not there for you. He doesn't want to do it. And you desperately want it. Now what?
Right.
I can't wait for him to break up with her.
I know. When are we going to get to that?
I don't know. When is this shit going to be over?
I don't know. Each episode is like a part of a vow. So I'm like, I think we're leading up to the rest of the weddings. Oh, and we had said a couple episodes ago, like, nobody got married on this season. And somebody said Devin and Nick. And I'm like,
forgot about them. We had forgotten about them already. So
because
boring.
We haven't seen them in forever. And they were so lame. So yeah, I think we've got at least Ashley and Manuel's wedding.
Yes.
And then maybe Clayton and Annalie.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
But we'll see about that. Speaking of them, let's get to Clayton and Annalie.
Okay.
So Annalie's crying in the bathroom because last episode, Clayton was like, can you tell your family about me? Or like at least post about me on the IG and say that you have a boyfriend of 2 years. And she's like, you don't understand me. I'm going to tell him.
Talking, and I would rather break up.
Oh my God.
Than do this one thing for you, which is really shady.
Yes.
And you have to wonder why. And then she walks away from the weird steak dinner that he grilled with those tiny baby hands.
I know.
Tiny baby hands.
Little
baby hands.
Yeah.
She walks away. She goes to the bathroom. She cries on the toilet.
Yes.
Like, why are you crying over Clayton?
I don't know.
There's so many things on the planet right now we could all cry over. Why are we crying over Clayton?
Like, why Clayton? And so he's knocking on the door insistently, being like, can you come out now? Can we talk? And then she finally opens the door only because she wants to tell him to shut the fuck up.
Like we all do.
Stop knocking. Yes. And then they sit there and talk about it. And she's like, well, you just don't get me. And he's like, well, I had previous relationships where they hid me off of social media and then they cheated on me, which is sad. And then Annalie's like, oh, that makes me sad for you, Clayton. So let me post about you right now.
Yeah, though I was a little confused by that.
Yeah.
It felt like she looked honestly moved by him saying that. Like she looked a little teary.
Yeah.
And then she completely did what he wanted anyway. So I'm like, well, why couldn't you have done that when he asked you, I don't know, weeks ago to do it? Why are you doing it now?
I know. This felt scripted to me.
Okay.
Because I'm like, you had to have posted that shit on social media before this. Like maybe TLC made her delete it and then post it like kind of like a little fake out thing.
I don't know.
This happened with The Other Way last season with Shekinah and Sarper. The same fucking situation,
right,
where he didn't post her on social media and she wanted him to post him. So I don't know. Who cares? She posted it with a sweet description. Clayton was really happy. And then he picks her up and takes her to bed.
Ew.
And they got bumping
Ew.
and grinding. They were fucking.
I mean, she's beautiful,
Yeah.
I guess. But I mean, I just can't imagine Clayton just hopping on top and jackhammering for 3 minutes.
I
and
know.
she like rolls over and sighs and says, good night, I guess.
I know. I was listening to My Thoughts podcast on this earlier, and she was asking everybody, like, do you think Annalie was faking it? So do you think Annalie was faking it?
Yes.
But they've had sex before.
Have they?
Yes.
Do you
they
think
were
she
banging
can
a
feel
lot.
anything?
I don't know.
I don't think she can feel anything.
Like, because his dick is so small?
Yes.
Oh.
That is what I'm saying. And I don't think he has any game. He has no social infrastructure in his life. He doesn't know how to have friends. He doesn't, certainly, I don't think, has a illustrious dating life that he's experienced. And so he doesn't know how to fuck. And even if he has a little something down there, which I don't believe he does, because I saw his hands, I don't think he knows how to use it. So he's definitely pump and dump captain.
Well, maybe he knows how to use his
captain
hands.
of the pump and dump team.
Maybe he can eat the box. I'm disgusted at the thought. But like,
just looking down between your legs and seeing that little head.
No, I can't.
Not. And so Annalie is one of us.
Yeah.
She feels the same way.
Maybe.
If this girl marries him, I'm just going to be like, what is your end game here?
I think she loves him, though. That's the thing.
Really?
Yes.
What redeeming value does this man have? I mean, and
I don't know.
It would be one thing if he could provide like a really great life for her, but he seems broke as fuck.
I know. They're like driving around San Diego the next day after he finally got laid. And she's like, it's beautiful over here. Can we move here? And he's like, no, I can't afford it for you, me, and my mom. Which means he's going to have his mom living with them.
He's already planning to take his mom everywhere.
I can't.
Did he not discuss that with her ahead of time?
I don't think she expected it. I think she was just like, what are we going to do? Like, have her live in our closet forever? And he's like, yeah, why not? Why not? I don't know, man. And then they start talking about the wedding.
Yes.
And I guess Annalie wants a bachelorette party with strippers.
Right.
Which, fine.
So she can see a real man's penis.
A larger penis.
Sorry. I'm terrible. And I'm so judgmental and I apologize, but
maybe he's got a big dick. You don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't body shame.
Sometimes those short boys, they will surprise you.
That's what I'm saying, girl. So maybe she's getting it good.
Doubt it. Deeply doubt that.
I just can't imagine it. But anyway, so they start talking about bachelorette parties and their wedding. And she's like, I want llamas and guinea pigs and animals and stuff to show like our different cultures. And he's like, well, let me call my bitch sister and talk about it. And so they call her up and he's like, so Annalie wants all of these things added to the wedding party. And she's just like, I'm not doing any of that.
Thank you. I respect that.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. I'm not going to go hunt down some gerbils or hedgehogs or whatever and some llamas for your dumbass wedding when you can't even provide a cake probably because your broke ass, hoe ass can't afford it.
I know. I'm wondering if we're going to see a wedding for them. I'm kind of hoping because I want to see how bad it is. Is that terrible?
It is not terrible.
I mean, I just want to see it. So yeah.
You're so cute.
What?
You just want to see it.
I do. Aww. I want to see their little tiny wedding, I shouldn't say that.
You should say that. His little tiny wedding, yeah.
With his tiny tuxedo. Yeah. I can't. Anyway, they're boring. Then we get to Sam and Citra. And Sam's dad is hunting for aliens or something in the front yard.
Right, Bigfoot. There's a big feetsy or something that's on the move in front of his house. And Sam's like, yeah, and there were footsteps on the roof and something happened that night. I don't know what it was.
Like, what is this? This is producer bullshit too, right? I mean, it has to be.
No, but are you saying you don't believe in cryptids?
No, I mean, I do.
Do
but
you?
I'm just like...
Because that doesn't sound like a Bigfoot encounter.
No.
That sounds like a dogman encounter.
Yeah.
I'm into the dogmen.
You are.
They are half man, half dog.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the name. That's the name.
It's the name dog, man.
But they are like 8 to 10 feet tall.
Ooh,
they look
scary.
like German Shepherd wolf heads with these, and they've got these big muscular chests like a man has, and they have man hands, unlike Clayton.
Are they similar to werewolves?
They are similar to werewolves. Yes.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Scurry.
Maybe that's what happened over at Sam's house.
Maybe you should contact Sam's dad and talk to him about it.
Maybe.
You're into that stuff.
I am into that stuff. I fall asleep every night listening to Dogman Encounters.
You don't. She sends us
or
some weird
Sasquatch
podcast
Chronicles,
episodes.
Bitch, I'm into it.
God. And then Sam takes Citra for a night on the town at Boozer's.
At some dive bar with the worst looking nachos ever and some fucked up tacos.
It literally looked like a bar that you'd see on Bar Rescue. Did you ever watch that show?
I did.
With John Taffer.
Yes.
I fucking love him. Anyway, they order these fruity ass drinks and then they go play pool and Sam's like teaching her how to play pool by sticking his dick behind her and just like totally molesting her.
God.
Should I say that?
Yeah, no, okay. It's true. Well, I mean, it's just like he's very horny.
Yes.
They're waiting, obviously, because he has to convert to Islam. And then they have to get married, and then they can get funky and do the deed. But until then, he can't. But he's really got the blue balls. And he's humping up on her.
It's cringe,
trying to rub up on it.
It's gross.
Rub up on it.
Now, do you think they fucked before? He says they haven't. But I'm like, I feel like you have. Because I think he talked about Citra being kind of a bad girl a couple episodes ago. How she kind of likes to fool around, but she's trying to keep herself pure and stuff.
My sense was that they hadn't, because I'm just taking her at her word. But my other question is she pregnant in the interstitials where they're sitting next to each other and she's wearing that pink top?
Oh my God.
Her tummy's kind of sticking out. And I'm not like body shaming her at all as the biggest woman in the room. But I'm just saying she kind of looks like she's got a baby bump.
That would be the second cast member that's pregnant, because Ashley's rumored to be pregnant as well.
Ashley and Manuel?
Yes, because they've been fucking so much.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be crazy. If she's fucking pregnant with Sam's kid.
I know.
Why?
Oh, that genetic line. It must live on. God, what would we do as a human race without Sam's genetic line?
She's such a beautiful girl. Like, you could do so much better.
I mean, you can't tell women anything, honey.
No, you can't.
They fall in love, they won't hear a thing.
I don't get it. And so then when they're playing pool, Sam asks what other things he's going to have to give up when he converts to Islam. You should know this if you're trying to convert.
Yes.
Stupid.
Yes.
And so she's like alcohol and pork, which you could never give up pork.
I love the pig, honey. I'm from Hawaii, where we put the pig in the ground with some tea leaves. We roast that pig and we eat that pig. I will eat a pig every day.
That sounds so bomb.
But there's something in the pig, some sort of a parasite or something that can actually pass through the blood-brain barrier and infect your fucking brain. It's like one of the 3 foods that you can eat that can start fucking with your brain and give you dementia, which maybe explains a few things.
That's terrible.
So you really got to cook your pig?
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah, you can't get that trichinosis.
No, so he can't have booze. He can't have pig.
Yeah.
He can't watch porn.
No.
He certainly can't do cocaine.
No.
He can't do that Suboxone.
No, and he starts saying that he's like, oh, it's going to be hard for me to not want to do things because, when you can't do things, it makes you want to do it even more. And I'm like, okay, so you're talking about drugs.
Yep, he's jonesing already.
Like, dude, you're just admitting now that like the Suboxone that wasn't in a prescription bottle. I don't know if I believe him that he's going to a doctor for it.
Okay. I there was a post on Reddit. Will you give me a moment so I can go pull it up?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I got my phone.
Okay.
So this was posted in the 90-Day Fiancé Uncensored subreddit by somebody named Bite O Honey.
Oh.
The name of this post, or the title of this post, is I'd like some additional opinions on Sam. I'm not going to read the entire thing because there's some personal information here as well. I know she put it on a public forum, but I don't want to get into it. But she says this: I put off watching the 2 episodes since the break until yesterday. Sam's story is so egregious, it beggars belief. His newest story, to explain his drug arrest, had a deviation from the first story that he told. When he explained to Citra the Suboxone was his, but he was no longer in the care of that Suboxone doctor, so he was charged. Not because the Suboxone wasn't in the appropriate container. Spoiler ahead for those who don't read outside of the episode. Spoiler is, what the show isn't telling us is he was also arrested at the time with paraphernalia and cocaine during the traffic stop. We've seen him drinking, which can be dangerous due to cross addiction. Yep. His hand also has an infection of some kind, an infection that resembles a swelling that I've personally seen on addicts that divert their Suboxone and shoot it up in the small veins on the top of their hand. Sam doesn't seem sober or even clean of his drug of choice during his scenes. He's sweaty, he's slurring, his eyes are darting. And then she said some personal stuff, which I won't get into, but
oh my
I thought
God.
that was really interesting. I had not noticed anything about his hand.
Me neither.
Now I'm going to be looking.
Yep. Now I'm going to be watching.
Swollen hand, which he's saying is an infection.
Wow. Which could be from a dirty needle.
And we also saw pictures of him from when he was a teenager, and he had like a full-on jaw. So I guess he's being questioned on his social media. Like, well, what happened? Do you have no teeth? What's going on? Yes, people are asking him, like, what happened to your face? I'm not saying anything did, but he's just like, no, that's just my dad. That's the genes. I look like my dad. But when you look back at his pictures as a teenager, he had a fuller jaw, and all his teeth. So I don't know. I think he's, in my opinion, he's obviously a drug addict. He said so himself, but I think he's continuing to use. And I worry about sweet Citra because I personally don't think that she gave him her virginity. I think she's waiting. I think she's a good Muslim girl.
Yeah, she probably is. And I just feel bad that like she's coming to America with all of this bullshit. Not only that he might have to go to jail, but that he's like still addicted to drugs probably and still doing it. Like the fact that he even said the verbiage in this episode of like, it's going to be hard for me to stop doing things that I'm not supposed to do. And I'm like, you're literally talking about drugs, my guy. So what? Are you waiting to convert to Islam?
Yes, he's
for
waiting
you to
for
be
marriage.
sober?
He's waiting to trap her. That's what, I don't know, abusers do.
Yeah.
And they go through a honeymoon period where everything is so great, and then they get married and they knock up their wife, and then all of a sudden they start to reveal who it is that they are. So I think he's just waiting to get her married because she's going to be loath to leave him because she's a religious girl.
Yes, for sure.
And then if she is pregnant, God, I just worry about it.
That's terrible.
His whole family.
I mean, they're all crazy. Like his mom is totally on drugs too. And I don't know what the dad's doing, but he's weird.
He's checked out, honey. He's on some flying saucer in the Pleiades in his mind.
Listening to Dogman.
That's right. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, honey.
No.
Dogman encounters. Thank you.
But God, I just feel really bad. And then later in the episode, they go and meet Citra's dad, who just flew in with Citra's two sisters. I forget their names. And they're meeting him at the hotel. And then Sam's talking about the two sisters and how they're kind of mean girls and they're kind of bitchy. And I'm like, well, they're judgy of you because you're supposed to take care of their sister and you're a fucking drug addict.
Right.
And you might have to go to jail and you
and
haven't
they're worried
told them
about
yet.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
They're trying to decide whether they're going to take Citra with them or not. And so they're obviously assessing the situation as they should.
Yes. And so they go to the hotel and Herman, Citra's dad, gives him, kind of a big hug or whatever and is like happy to see him. And
he's got one eye on that guy for real.
Totally. And Sam's not telling him anything yet. He's waiting for the perfect time. I hate him.
I don't like him at all.
I really hate. I think he's so scummy.
He's setting her up. It's all a big setup.
Yep. It really is.
Why does she love him? Why does she even like him? He has nothing to offer. Like when we get to the mosque, like he didn't do any research.
None.
He's not taking his conversions seriously.
No.
He doesn't even know how to address them and respond to them. It's just like, oh, it's disrespectful.
Yes, it really is. And I'm just like, dude, why are you converting for this girl? Like you're only doing it just so you can get laid. That's literally it. And I'm like, you could probably find another girl that's not this religious girl that, has purity and everything. Like you're gonna ruin her. Like you're really gonna ruin her with your fucking drug use. And if you got her fucking pregnant because you're stupid and didn't use a condom or something, now she's literally trapped. Now she's got your fucking baby probably, and you're off in jail doing Suboxone.
She's going to go back to Indonesia. I actually think she's a very smart girl. I think she's got a really good support system in her family. I think if she's in trouble, all she has to do is call Herman. Herman's going to come and get her. She's going to take her and the baby back to Indonesia. And Sam is going to have to litigate that to get the baby back. So I don't think he's going to do that because he's going to be spending all of his money on drugs.
I know. Well, that's if she even tells her dad, because she hasn't told her dad any of this stuff, which I'm kind of surprised about.
Because I think she wants Sam to tell him because Sam is the man and he needs to tell her father.
And Herman, I feel like, is not going to take it well. I mean, in this episode, he's like, well, if he does anything that's going to harm my daughter or like she's going to be in danger or whatever, I'm taking her back to Indonesia. Like I'm flying her back immediately.
So I'm going to just give a spoiler. If you don't want to know whether they end up together, then go ahead and like advance it about 20 seconds. But as it turns out, they do end up getting married. So, and he also doesn't go to jail.
Okay,
so he gets the deviation. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Diversion. Sorry.
Diversion, whatever.
He gets the diversion and they end up getting married and they stay together. And I don't know why. I just know that it is.
I just hope he's sober then.
Yeah.
I really hope he's sober.
Dare to dream, Beatrice.
God, I wonder if we're going to see them on regular 90-day happily ever
maybe
after.
Happily ever after. I guess. I don't know.
They need the money. He needs the drug money, maybe. Oh, last but not least, we get to Gino and Jasmine.
Okay.
And Gino's got a lovely surprise for Jasmine. She gets all dressed up in that beautiful dress. He's got like rose petals out to a nice candlelit dinner. He's going to give her a ring and re-propose to her with a diamond ring that she deserves. And it's like really sweet.
Yep.
He's like talking about how much he loves her. He's like very romantic.
Yes, he is.
Pulling out her chair for her.
It's a different side to Gino.
I know. I was very surprised. And he just seemed like very light and happy to be with her. Jasmine seemed very happy to be with him for some reason.
Because she hasn't verbally abused him for the last 24 hours. So he's trying to come out of his shell and see if it's safe.
But even during the dinner, she's got to bring up her ex and be like, normally I don't go for your type. I go for hot, muscular, blonde guys, that have big dicks and stuff and fuck me good.
Oh my God.
And Gino's just like, you can see the life kind of drain from him a little bit. And she's like, but I love you. I love you and your bald head and your brown eyes. Like, you're my soulmate.
Right.
And so after the dinner, after he proposes and she cries, it's all happy. Right. They go back up to their hotel room and probably bang, and she probably pees on him.
Right.
And then the morning after, everything just
the
gets
afterglow
ruined.
Of coitus. It's been such a fantastic vacation in Miami. She's warm in her body and in her spirit, and she's so in love with Gino. And so the first thing she thinks she should do is ruin that shit.
She immediately ruins it. And Gino's like, this is the happiest we've ever been. Yeah. Like, this is so great.
Yep.
And then Jasmine's like, well, I've been keeping something from you.
Can't you wait until you get back to Michigan?
For real.
Like, go back to the apartment, get back into your normal routine. Like, let the magic be magical.
Right.
But she's got to fucking ruin everything.
Yes, she's crazy. Low key. I'm what is wrong with you?
Like BPD, probably. Yes. Borderline personality. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing anybody on the internet. But I think it's borderline personality.
She's got something wrong with her. I'm
disorder.
Like, yes.
Yep. She just can't be steady, stable, and happy. It's always got to be like this.
Yeah.
Some people are habituated to chaos. And even though they get into a different relationship with another person who's not terrible or abusive, they have to manufacture the chaos because it's what they are used to. Mm-hmm. And Jasmine strikes me as somebody like that. And let me ask you this. Have we ever learned about in previous seasons, like her childhood and what that was like?
I don't think so. If we have, I don't remember it.
Okay, because she strikes me as somebody who had a lot of childhood trauma.
She might have.
A lot of childhood trauma and maybe like CPTSD, and she's just got like personality issues as a result of that. And she's not going to therapy.
No.
She's not taking care of herself in that way. So she just barfs it all over Gino and anybody else in the space.
Well, and I think she kind of likes it. Like, I think she likes to put Gino down and belittle him. And like, I don't know if it's a weird fucking kink that they have or what, because she does pee on him. I have to remind you. I'm just like, but I don't get it, because right after all this beautiful night and this beautiful trip in Miami, you guys had no fights.
Right.
Then she brings up, oh yeah, by the way, my ex partially paid for my ass implants. But don't worry, it's not because we're fucking or anything, even though I bring it up every time we have a fight that he fucks me better than you and he's got such a nice dick.
And I'm leaving you to go fuck him.
Yes. But don't worry, we're just friends. He did this as our wedding gift. He did it for you, Gino.
Right.
Because you love my ass so much.
Right.
And Gino's just like devastated, low-key in his face. He's just like, really? You fucking ruined everything by just bringing that up. And Jasmine's just like, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right.
And then that's how it ends.
Right. And then in the preview, they get back to Michigan and he's bringing something up. They're fighting. They're arguing about something. Do you remember what it was? Because I have already forgotten. But
I think it was about her ex.
Probably about the ex. And then she's stomping up the stairs saying like, I'd rather be with him, or I'm going to go fuck him, or he's a better lover, or whatever. Just being an abusive piece of shit to Gino again. Yes. And don't get me wrong, Gino is awful.
I know.
Like, I don't like Gino at all.
No, he sucks.
And something about his ex-girlfriend who was blackmailing her, and maybe Gino was saying something like Jasmine was at fault for that or something. I don't know, but they're having a big ass fucking argument, and we're going down the drain again.
Yeah, she's literally screaming at him with a knife in her hand. I know. I'm like, she's fucking scary.
Yeah,
and then screams up the stairs and is like, I don't want to marry this fucking idiot. Like, oh my God, what the fuck happened now?
Yeah.
I can't with
them.
Then
go back to Panama.
For real.
Just stop it already.
Like, why are you guys together? And it's hard for me because sometimes with them, I think it's scripted and I think they're just putting on a part just to get clout and money.
I think those are real tears when he's crying.
Yes.
And they're having that sense, not sensitive, but like that sentimental moment. And I think that he's like feeling very warm for her when she's talking about accepting his family.
Yeah.
I think when she's crying, it feels real. I do think they're probably prolonging the relationship so they can stay on camera and collect a check because he never went back to work and she don't work either.
Nope.
That's probably why they stay in the situation, but they should not be in this relationship.
Not at
It is terrible.
So fucking toxic. And then in the preview, we also have Sophie's mom is like, why are you with Rob the Knob?
Yeah.
He's the fucking worst.
Period.
And Rob's also talking shit to his friends about Sophie again.
Right.
Like, nobody cares.
Like a bitch
just break up.
does.
For real. Nikki and Igor go horseback riding.
Why?
I don't even know why.
Well, only to talk again about sex. And as I'm riding this horse, I am imagining myself having sex with you. Now let's fight about that again.
And she's literally like getting up and like twerking on the horse.
That's all she has to offer. That's
all
what
it
she
is.
thinks it's all she has to offer.
It's cringe.
It's really bad.
It's so gross.
And I'm sick of it.
Me too. And then Manuel and Ashley are still fighting about money again, but this time at Niagara Falls.
Okay.
And
in
I don't
front
know
of all these other people.
I'm like, are you gonna fuck on the boat at Niagara Falls? Because I hate you guys. All they do is fight and fuck.
Yep.
And then Citra's dad meets Sam's dad, and then Sam breaks it to Citra's dad, Herman, that, oh, by the way, I might have to go to jail. So we'll get to see his reaction. Yeah. And then Clayton's mom is like low-key racist as fuck to Anna Lane. She's like, why can't she cook American food? Why can't she speak English?
The fuck?
Get out of here, hoarder.
I mean, I don't get it.
I don't either.
Okay, I don't know how old this woman is. Maybe she's 60. Maybe she's in her 50s.
She looks old.
But like, you were probably born in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have come along. We should be farther along than some curmudgeon woman saying xenophobic bullshit like that. Like, what the fuck?
I know. Like, what are you even saying?
I'm shocked. Like, I'm perpetually shocked that people actually think and feel that way.
I know. But they are in Kentucky, though.
Well, I mean, I think Kentucky's beautiful. I almost moved to Kentucky.
It is.
It's, of course, a lot of good people in Kentucky.
Yeah.
But I was just like, wow. And he also expects to take his mom with them wherever they go.
I know. I don't know why, because he feels the need to support her. And I'm like, well, do we all forget?
Does she not have a job? Sorry.
Well, she doesn't have a job and she's a hoarder. Did we all forget about the storage unit of all of her bullshit that was stuffed full to the brim? Like, she's probably doesn't have a home because she hoarded it out.
She can fucking work.
Yeah.
She sits in that apartment all day in the fucking closet with the hedgehogs and the chihuahuas. I'm like, get a fucking job. Go to Walmart. Be a greeter. Do something.
For real.
Like, I just can't. I could never imagine visiting myself upon my children, except for you do expect it. Please do expect it.
I know. I'm not going to put you in a home.
But I just couldn't imagine visiting myself upon my child that way, living in his fucking closet, so much so that he can't bone his girlfriend or wife.
Right.
Like, who is this lady? She's preposterous.
For real. And then you're going to bitch about the lovely food that she's making, the Peruvian food, and you're going to be like, it's not American. Why can't she make a cheeseburger?
Oh my God. Lady.
For real.
Get fucked.
For real. I can't stand them. That's it, though. That's the preview that we got to look forward to. Yeah.
Okay, well, it feels to me like we're maybe starting to wrap up. I mean, how much more can we actually do with the same storylines for 90 Day Fiancé? But it feels like we're wrapping it up.
I hope so. Maybe we have like one more episode. I'm hoping.
Well, one more and then a finale. Well, they would say next time on the season finale.
So we got at least two.
At least two. So they're taking us through January, at least maybe part of February, and then we'll have the 17 tell-alls, which you are forcing us to cover on this podcast. Yeah. And I'm like, why?
Because the raccoons will want it.
Really?
Yeah.
They're going to complain if we don't do the tell-alls?
I'm sure. Are y'all going to complain?
We're going to be balls deep in Vanderpump Rules?
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be like, you need to finish it out.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Back me up, y'all.
Okay. I'll do it if you want to do it. I'll do it.
We'll do it. We got to see it through.
Okay. Well, this was fun.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we need to say to these beautiful raccoons, Beatrice?
Well, if you love our podcast, you better be going on your favorite podcast platform and leaving us a glowing 5-star review. It really helps us grow the pod, and we love to read them. So thank you so much.
And until next week, which, by the way, beginning of the week, we're going to be starting with Sister Wives Season 4. We're doing rewinds.
Yep.
It gets crazy, so make sure you come back for that. And until then, do not forget that we've got nothing but love for you, and peace out.
Bye.